Здравствуйте. Hello and welcome to Russian language class. Before moving on, let's have a quick recap of the previous lesson. In the previous lesson, we had discussed about the expression of time, some expression, and how to mention the date, month and year in Russian. So, for this purpose, I have written a question. Когда вы поступили в университет? When did you take admission in the university? So, you can answer this question by using the date, month and year together, or you can only say the month and year and you can only use the year. So, these are three ways you can answer this question. So, what happens when we use the date, month and year together? Я поступил в университет 1 августа 2005 года. So, if you are only mentioning date, month and year together, then we use the genitive case of the date, month and year without any preposition. Я поступил в университет 1 августа 2005 года. 1st August 2005. Now, let us move on to the case when we only use the month and year together. So, we are not mentioning the date. Я поступил в университет в августе 2005 года. So, here as you can see, the month has to be in the prepositional case along with the preposition were, and then the year has to be in the genitive case. So, month in the prepositional and year in the genitive case when we are mentioning the month and year together. So, я поступил в университете в августе 2005 года. I got admission at the university in the month of August 2005. So, now the third situation is when we are mentioning only the year of admission. So, how do we say that? Я поступил в университет в 2005 году. So, here as you can see, the year is in the prepositional case along with the preposition were. So, in the year 2005. So, this is how we mention the date, month and year in Russian. Now, there is another question, how do we ask about today's date? So, the question would be сегодня какое число or сегодня какой день, and how do we answer? We use the neuter gender of the date and the genitive of the month. For example, сегодня какое число? Сегодня 1 сентября. So, today is the 1st of September. So, this is how we answer about the date. Now, the another topic that we discussed in the previous lesson was prepositions used to denote or express time, and we had discussed 4 prepositions, out of which first 2 через and после, they have the meaning after, and the later 2 prepositions the and перед, they mean before. Then what is the difference between через and после? Через is used to denote a concrete period of time, whereas после is used to denote a period of time which is not concrete. For example, через день, через час, через минуту, and after через we use the accusative case, whereas after после we use the genitive case. For example, после обеда, после завтрака, после ужина, после урока and so on. Now, let us move on to the and перед. The and перед, both of the prepositions, they mean before, but if there is an action which is going on for a longer duration of time, we use the preposition the, and if something takes place immediately before an action, then we use the preposition перед. The for a longer duration of time and перед for an action which takes place immediately before something. So, this is about the prepositions. So, this is we are done with the recap. Let us move on to the topics we will be discussing today. So far we have discussed only simple sentences, and sometimes we have also discussed complex sentences, but now we will be exclusively discussing the complex sentences, and we will first start with the complex sentences with the conjunctions and conjunctive words. So, let me first tell you what is a complex sentence. A complex sentence is something where there are two clauses. So, first one is principal clause and the other one is subordinate clause. Principal clause, as the name suggests, holds the principal action or the main action or main verb, and the subordinate clause contains the action or the verb which is dependent on the principal clause. And while making or while forming the complex sentences, we use some conjunctions and conjunctive words. So, conjunction and conjunctive words, this is the topic of our discussion now. So, let me first dwell on what is the difference between a conjunction and a conjunctive word. So, how do you understand the difference between conjunction and a conjunctive word? Conjunctive word denotes a conjunction or adverb or pronoun which denotes or implies a meaning which is related to the principal clause. So, maybe sometimes it is not there, but it implies that something is there in the principal clause which is denoted by the conjunctive word. For example, it will be clear from these examples. The first example I have written here is Я знаю, что вы сказали ему. Я знаю, что вы сказали ему. So, how will you translate this sentence? I know what you told him. So, here as you can see, we are saying Я знаю то, I know what or that, что вы сказали ему, which you told him. In the second sentence, Я знаю, что вы сказали ему все. Я знаю, что вы сказали ему все. I know that you told him everything. So, here in the second sentence, this что does not relate to a word in the principal clause, Я знаю. So, Я знаю does not have anything which is represented or which is denoted by this что, but in the first sentence this что also denotes something or a word which is there in the principal clause. So, this is the difference between a proper conjunction which is in the second sentence and the conjunctive word. So, now let us move on to the complex sentences with conjunctions and conjunctive words. So, for the first examples, we have used the conjunctive words кто, какой, как, когда, где, куда, откуда, почему, зачем, сколько. I hope you know all these words. Кто is who, какой is which, как how, когда when, где where, куда where to, откуда from where, почему why, зачем for what or what for, сколько is how many or how much. So, these are some of the conjunctive words which we use in the complex sentences. Of course, there are more also, but we will be discussing only these conjunctive words or conjunctions, so to say. Вы знаете, кто этот мужчина? Вы знаете, кто этот мужчина? So, do you know who this man is? So, as you can see, these two sentences have been joined together with this conjunction кто, who. Let us try to answer this question. Вы знаете, кто этот мужчина? Да, я знаю, кто этот мужчина. So, this is how you can answer this question in affirmative. Yes, I know who this man is. Or if you want to answer it in negative, you can say нет, я не знаю, кто этот мужчина. Similarly, we have tried to use as much conjunctions as we can in the following examples. Вы знаете, как его зовут? Do you know what is his name? Вы знаете, как его зовут? and whenever we use a conjunction, before the conjunction a comma has to be placed. So, vi znajcie and then put a comma and then you say kakivo zavod. Vi znajcie kakivo zavod. And how do you answer this question? Da ja znaju kakivo zavod or нет, я не знаю kakivo zavod. Now, the next conjunction is где, which means where. Вы знаете, где он работает? Do you know where does he work? So, here again this where functions as the conjunction or the joining thing between these two sentences, вы знаете and он работает. Вы знаете, где он работает. You can also use где in different contexts. For example, вы знаете город, где он работает. So, in this sentence if you add here город, then this где will denote город in the previous sentence. So, in that case где will work as or function as the conjunctive word. So, do you know the city or the town where he works? So, где is denoting the word town or city. The next is kuda, kuda where to. So, kuda is used with a verb of motion. Вы знаете, куда он уехал? So, do you know where did he go? Next is откуда. Откуда is where from or from where. So, again откуда is also used with a verb of motion. Вы знаете, откуда он приехал? Do you know where has he come from or where did he come from? So, how will you answer? Да, я знаю, откуда он приехал. Нет, я не знаю, откуда он приехал. The next is когда. Когда is when. Вы знаете, когда у нас экзамен? So, do you know when do we have examination? Да, я знаю, когда у нас экзамен. Нет, я не знаю, когда у нас экзамен. The next is какой. Какой is a relative pronoun, but it also functions as a conjunction. And the difference here is, I mean with какой and other conjunction here is that какой changes its gender and number depending on the noun it has been used. So, вы знаете, какой этот фильм? Вы знаете, какая это книга? As you can see, if we change the noun or if we change the noun from masculine to feminine, the form of какой also changes. So, here since we have used the masculine noun, we are using какой. Вы знаете, какой этот фильм? Да, я знаю, какой этот фильм. Нет, я не знаю, какой этот фильм. The next is почему. What is почему? Почему is why. Вы знаете, почему сегодня он не приехал в университет? Do you know why he didn't come to the university today? So, how will you answer this question in affirmative? Да, я знаю, почему сегодня он не приехал в университет. Or in negative, нет, я не знаю, почему сегодня он не приехал в университет. The next conjunction that we have tried to explain is что. Что, as I have already told you, and we have also discussed this conjunction in earlier lessons or previous lessons, that что can mean what, it can also mean that. Вы помните, что я говорю? So, do you understand what I am telling or what I am saying? Да, я помню, что вы говорите. Нет, я не помню, что вы говорите. The next is the conjunctions зачем. Зачем is what for or for what. Вы не знаете, зачем он это сделал. So, you don't know why he has done this. Here we have used the perfective aspect of the verb делать, сделать. Вы не знаете, зачем он это сделал. So, here зачем and почему, both of them are synonyms. Why or what for. So, these are some of the conjunctions which are used in the complex sentences. So, what conjunctions have we discussed so far? Кто, что, какой, как, когда, где, куда, откуда, почему, зачем, and сколько. With сколько, we can use it in the sentences. Вы знаете, сколько стоят эти часы? So, do you know how much this watch costs? So, these are some of the examples where we can use these conjunctions. So, we will move on to other conjunctions. So, apart from these conjunctions, there are many more which are used in the complex sentences. So, we will discuss some of them. Next is atkuda. Atkuda is where from or from where. So, again atkuda is also used with the verb of motion. Вы знаете, откуда он приехал? Do you know where has he come from or where did he come from? So, how will you answer? Да, я знаю, откуда он приехал. Нет, я не знаю, откуда он приехал. The next is когда. Когда is when. Вы знаете, когда у нас экзамен? So, do you know when do we have examination? Да, я знаю, когда у нас экзамен. Нет, я не знаю, когда у нас экзамен. The next is какой. Какой is a relative pronoun, but it also functions as a conjunction. And the difference here is, with kakoi and other conjunction here is that kakoi changes its gender and number depending on the noun it has been used. So, вы знаете, какой этот фильм? Вы знаете, какая это книга? As you can see, if we change the noun or if we change the noun from masculine to feminine, the form of какой also changes. So, here since we have used the masculine noun, we are using какой. Вы знаете, какой этот фильм? Да, я знаю, какой этот фильм. Нет, я не знаю, какой этот фильм. The next is почему. What is почему? Почему is why. Вы знаете, почему сегодня он не приехал в университет? Do you know why he didn't come to the university today? So, how will you answer this question in affirmative? Да, я знаю, почему сегодня он не приехал в университет. Or in negative, нет, я не знаю, почему сегодня он не приехал в университет. The next conjunction that we have tried to explain is что. Что, as I have already told you, and we have also discussed this conjunction in earlier lessons or previous lessons, that что can mean what, it can also mean that. Вы помните, что я говорю? So, do you understand what I am telling or what I am saying? Да, я помню, что вы говорите. Нет, я не помню, что вы говорите. The next is the conjunctions зачем. Зачем is what for or for what. Вы не знаете, зачем он это сделал. So, you don't know why he has done this. Here we have used the perfective aspect of the verb делать, сделать. Вы не знаете, зачем он это сделал. So, here зачем and почему, both of them are synonyms. Why or what for. So, these are some of the conjunctions which are used in the complex sentences. So, what conjunctions have we discussed so far? Кто, что, какой, как, когда, где, куда, откуда, почему, зачем, and сколько. With сколько, we can use it in the sentences. Вы знаете, сколько стоят эти часы? So, do you know how much this watch costs? So, these are some of the examples where we can use these conjunctions. So, we will move on to other conjunctions. So, apart from these conjunctions, there are many more which are used in the complex sentences. So, we will discuss some of them. Now, we will be discussing the conjunctions потому что, поэтому and чтобы. Потому что, поэтому and чтобы. Потому что, which means because, and поэтому, which means therefore, and that is why, are used to give the reason. or they are used to answer the questions почему. Почему is why. So, when you answer the question with the interrogative word почему, we can use потому что or поэтому. So, let us look at the example. Почему Алексей опоздал на урок сегодня? Why Alexei got late on the class or in the class today? Почему Алексей опоздал на урок? Why was he late in the class today? So, you can use either потому что or поэтому to answer this question. So, let us see how. Алексей опоздал на урок, потому что сегодня он поздно встал. Встал comes from the verb встать, which is the совершенный or perfective aspect of the verb вставать, to get up. Alexei was late in the class because today he got up late. So, here what are we saying? We are saying that because he got up late, he could not come to the class on time. The next answer we have given using the word or conjunction поэтому, which means therefore. So, how can you restructure this sentence into something where we can use the conjunction поэтому? Сегодня Алексей поздно встал. Today Alexei got up late. So, this is the reason. Therefore, поэтому он опоздал на урок, and that is why he came late to the class or he was late in the class. So, this is how we use the conjunction потому что and the conjunction поэтому. The next conjunction we are going to discuss is чтобы. What is чтобы? So that. So, literally if you translate this word, it means so that, and we have discussed this word or conjunction before also, and we have also told you that after чтобы the verb either is used in the past tense or in the infinitive form. So, when do we use the verb in the past tense and when are we supposed to use them in the infinitive form? Let us revise it again. So, for this I have written a question here. Зачем ваш отец дал вам деньги? Зачем ваш отец дал вам деньги? So, for what your father gave you money? That is to give. It takes dachilni padesh or dative case. That is why we are using vam, which comes from the personal pronoun we, and деньги is money. So, why did your father give you money? So, how will you answer this question using чтобы? So, we are basically combining these two sentences with чтобы. Мой отец дал мне деньги, my father gave me money, чтобы, so that я купил новый англо-русский словарь, so that I bought a new English-Russian dictionary. So, here we are using the past tense of the verb купить. Why past tense? Because whenever the subject of the principal clause and the subordinate clause are different, as you can see here the subject is мой отец, my father gave me money. So, here the subject is мой отец, and in this subordinate clause the subject is я, which is different from the subject of the principal clause. So, in this case we will use the past tense of the verb. Whereas, let us look at this other example. Зачем вы много занимаетесь? Why do you work a lot or why do you study a lot? Заниматься means to study, and зачем вы много занимаетесь? Why do you study a lot? So, here we have tried to answer this question using the infinitive form. Why so? Let us look at the sentence. Мы занимаемся много, we study a lot, чтобы, again so that, хорошо говорить по-русски, to speak Russian well. So, here as you can see, the subject of the second verb and the principal clause are same, which is мы. So, we are studying a lot to speak Russian well. So, here subject is the same, that is why we are using the infinitive form. So, this is when we use the infinitive form, and in the first instance where the subjects were different in both the clauses, we have used the past tense of the verb. So, now we will look at some more conjunctions. Now, we will look at the conjunctions khatya, which means though or even though or although, and yesli, which means if, and yesli bhi. So, let us start with the conjunction khatya, which means though, although, even though, or even if. Khatya мне это не нравится, я это сделаю. So, let us look at the first sentence that I have written using khatya in a complex sentence. As you can see, khatya is used to introduce the subordinate clause, and it is used to indicate the concessive outcome. Concessive outcome, how do you understand this term? Let us try to find out the meaning of this sentence first. Khatya мне это не нравится. Although I do not like this, я это сделаю, I will do it. So, even if I do not like it, I will do it. So, here as you can see, something which is not positive outcome, which is being denoted in the subordinate clause, but the result is something else. So, to denote this we use the conjunction khatya. So, khatya is used to denote or indicate the concessive outcome or result. So, something which is not supported in the subordinate clause. The next example I have written here is khatya, even though pashol dosh, it started raining, мы продолжали играть в football, we continued to play football. So, the condition is not conducive here, I mean the situation is not conducive in the subordinate clause, but the outcome is positive. So, whenever there is a situation like this, we use the conjunction khatya. So, khatya pashol dosh, мы продолжали играть в football. So, even though it started raining, we continued to play football. Now, let us move on to the conjunction yesli. Yesli is one of the conjunctions that we have already discussed in the previous lessons. Yesli, as I have told you, is used to introduce the subordinate clause or conditional clause. So, there is a condition which is given in the subordinate clause, and to denote that we use the conjunction yesli. For example, yesli будет хорошая погода. So, when we only look at the subordinate clause, what is there? If there will be good weather. As you can see, this is a condition. So, if there is something, мы поедем на экскурсию. So, we will go for a picnic. So, if something is there, then we will do this. So, there is a condition, and to introduce that conditional clause we use the conjunction yesli. Next example, если у вас свободное время в воскресенье, приходите к нам на обед. So, the first conditional clause is introduced by the conjunction yesli. If you have free time on Sunday, come to us for lunch. So, again there is a condition, and if this condition is fulfilled, then only the second action will be completed. So, if you have free time on Sunday, please come to us on lunch. So, the conjunction yesli is used to denote a condition or a conditional clause. The next conjunction that I have written here is yesli bhi. Yesli bhi is used in the subjunctive mood. What is subjunctive mood? Something which is unreal or which should have been but did not happen. So, for those sentences we use the conjunction если бы. For example, если бы у меня были деньги, я бы купил самолет. So, if I had money, I would have bought an aeroplane. I would have bought a plane. So, as you can see, there is something which is not there or which is unreal. I do not have money, so I did not buy the plane. But here it says, if I had money, I would have bought a plane. So, here in the principal clause also we use бы. So, you have to remember that we use the particle бы in the principal clause if we are using a subjunctive mood. The next example is если бы ты попросила меня, я бы помог тебе. If you had asked me, I would have helped you. So, again it says if you had done this, I would have done that. So, here again there is a condition, but the condition is unreal, something which is not there in reality. So, these are some of the conjunctions that we have learned today, and we have also looked at the use of those conjunctions and their meanings. So, now we will look at the conjunction katori, which is a relative pronoun. So, why katori is different from these conjunctions? Because katori is a relative pronoun, that is why it will change its form in terms of gender and number and case. So, now let us do our next topic, which is katori.